Joining us again for his annual In the Crease segment, talk some Evansville IceMen hockey. It's Coach Al Sims here in studio with us. Coach, as always, appreciate the time. We look forward to the segment and getting a chance to talk some hockey with you now that the season is underway. And before we dig into what took place with the home opener Saturday night at the Ford Center against Indy, let's just talk about the offseason a little bit. Did you get a chance to actually get away from hockey for a little bit in the offseason?
Yeah, I did. Got to go up to my cottage on the lake up north, Toronto, about 2 hours north of Toronto. And it's been in the family for about 50, 60 years. And I grew up there as a young kid and was up there with my grandmother all summer for summer vacations. So know all the fishing holes, and we have a lot of fun up there. So it was a good time, and we were doing some recruiting, obviously, at the same time.
How much are you keeping an eye on your Blue Jays up there in Toronto?
Well, we're really pumped. I think our crowd showed the world how boisterous they can be, and a little bit some bad things like throwing beer bottles, I heard, and stuff. But, it seems like any successful sports franchise in Toronto, they just latch onto it big time. The Raptors were the huge thing last year. The Leafs haven't done it in a long time, so they're starved for some success. And
I thought Canadians were polite. Wasn't that the thing?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought too. I don't know what's happened, but we got the big city vibe into us, I guess, and they show their disapproval. But it's been real exciting. I mean, they dropped two, go to 2 down to the first series. Now they went 2 down this series and 1 last night. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be real exciting to see how they finish up.
Well, let's get into your sport. Let's get into hockey in the off season. Your first full off season with the IceMen, as we all know the story. You came in about midway through last season. So now that you just take us through the process of what your goals were here in the off season as you were getting ready to prepare for your first full season as head coach.
Well, I think the biggest thing we wanted to do was bring in our own goaltender, and we went out and got Bensberg from Sweden, and a very good goalie over there, and he's getting used to the angles over here. Hasn't played yet, but Binghamton provided us with an excellent goalie in Scott Greenham as well, who's played in the American Hockey League. And I think, when I've won championships, I've always started with the net and defense and getting the top guy I can in that position, and then building the defense after that, and then the forwards at the end. But, we've got a lot of help from Binghamton this year. We had 11 guys sent down from Binghamton. I think 5 of them were our players that were at Binghamton's camp, and 6 of them were Binghamton players. So, Binghamton's really provided us with a lot of young, fast talent. So the unfortunate thing is that a lot of them are 20 years old, and this is their first year pro, and they're feeling their way in the league and have to find a niche on how they're going to help the team win. But, I was really impressed the first game with just our team speed, our toughness, Jonathan Carlson fighting, who is a Swede, and you wouldn't think Europeans would do that kind of thing, but Jonathan got right into it, and so did Vincent Dunn. So, we have some toughness and excitement and a lot of speed, which excites the fans. We had a lot of chances with our speed, and, I think we're going to make a mark. The further we go in the season, the better this team's going to be because of our youth.
Well, one of the things that you really harped on last season, you came in mid-season, New Year's Day, basically.
Right.
And so you had the second portion of the season. It didn't go well. We all know that, but that's in the past. But one of the things that you really harped on and preached is the Coach Sims style. We're going to put speed on the ice, and we're going to have conditioning. We're not going to be tired come late in the game. And I'm sure that's just your coaching mentality, so I'm sure we're going to see that. You've already brought up the speed, the conditioning part as well with new guys coming in and learning the pro game, just the grind of day in and day out. Is that something that these guys, I guess what I'm getting at with a long question is, do they make it or break it in this first month of the season?
Yeah, they do. A lot of these young kids need to be mentored, and I end up doing that. Johan does it, my assistant. Our trainers know about it, but it's about being a good pro and what it takes to be a good pro, how you take care of yourself at night, how you take care of yourself away from the rink, how you present yourself at practice, your effort in practice, and pro teams want to know your practice habits. And, when Ottawa calls for somebody, they want to know that this guy works his butt off every day in practice. He eats right. He does this. He does that. And a lot of these young kids, it's their first time on their own. The college kids have been away for 4 years. They assimilate a lot better than these junior kids. The junior kids are 20 years old. They come right out of living at home or living with another family. And all of a sudden they got to take care of themselves, cook for themselves, or go out and eat. Be careful of what they eat and make sure they're eating the right stuff. And Ottawa sent a trainer down here just recently this past weekend, Jeremy Benoit, who is a conditioning coach, and told them a lot about what they need to do off the ice conditioning wise, weight, stretching, etc. We got a stretching class today for them at 2:00. So their days are really structured, and we've got actually a nutritionist from Ottawa that's going to come in as well. So they really invest a lot of money in these kids, and they want to make sure that they get the best advice from the right people.
Well, you bring up the junior hockey. We've got a new junior hockey team here in town. It's their first season. Kind of unfamiliar with it, to be honest. I know they come in, they stay with host families. How does that work? When you talk about junior hockey coming into the players coming into the IceMen, is that the same as the Thunderbolts? I mean, do they feed into hopefully an ECHL team or that level? I mean, is that what you're talking about when you talk about junior hockey, or is it a higher level than the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, it's much higher level, but, the Thunderbolts, these kids are living away from home too, and, a lot of them go to school, and, their days are pretty filled with school and hockey, so they're not like our guys going from 10 to noon, and then what do I do the rest of the day to keep my time, busy and doing things constructive that'll help my career.
So that's kind of step one then on the journey. Okay.
Yeah, but these kids will obviously trying to get to our level, I'm sure, and hopefully they're doing the right things away from the rink.
Got some names back this season. I know I'd seen in the paper. I guess a double question: do we have some names coming back that people will recognize? Because obviously this is your team now. You're going to make the changes you need. You're going to implement the players that you're comfortable with. But first part of the question: are there names coming back that we're going to be familiar with? And second part of the question: I seen in a press release or something about loaner players. Explain a little bit what a loaner player is.
Yeah, a loaner player is, somebody who gets loaned out from a team above you. We've got one kid from the New York Rangers here, and we've got, I think, 6 kids from Binghamton. So when they loan these players to you, we pay a certain part of their salary to have them here in Evansville. The pro team pays the rest, and they usually pay the bulk of it. We pay I think it's $5.25 per week for professional. We call them pros, but our players are pros too, but they're not signed by an NHL team or an American League team. So that's the difference, and that's what a loaner player is. And that player can be recalled at any time, and you really have no say in it.
So that's why it's considered a loaner. Right. Once they want him back, send him our way.
You got to send him back. So,
all right.
But and as far as familiar players, Jarrett Lucan, who was elected the captain this year, and we've got Troy Rutkowski, who came back, who's a Binghamton pro, and Scott Greenham, the goalie who was here when I first started last year for about a month, is back with us. So we've got, I think, 3 guys, and we've flipped the roster and are really trying to get that losing mentality from the guys last year out of here. And with only 3 guys, really, these kids are all new. They don't know what happened last year, and they want to make their own, blaze their own trail, so to speak.
Evansville IceMen head coach Al Sims joining us. It is in the Crease, Ford and O'Brien, ESPN Evansville 105.3, and online, ESPNEvansville.com. So, Coach, you got your first game of the season out of the way, under your belt, however you want to call it, at home at the Ford Center. You took on Indy last Saturday. Came out on the losing end of things, but some positives, some negatives that you took away from the game. And I know it's very early, but, what can you build on from here?
Well, I think, the positives were, we came out and played with speed and energy, which is what I wanted our team to do. We've only been together a short period of time, but, we created some scoring chances the first 10 minutes, and their goaltender played real well and stood tall and made some good saves. Greenham was very strong at our end through the first period and ended up 0-0. Indy did get on the board first, and, the first goal is important in any game, but I think, with our team, we cranked it up a little bit, especially in the third period, and the last probably 8 to 10 minutes is that we played with desperation and trying to get a tying goal when it was 2-1. And, we've got to bring, I told the kids, we got to bring that desperation right at the start of the game. And it's not when you're down and by 1 and late in the game for the desperation. We need it right at the very start. So, the kids learned a lot about the league. I think a lot of them are surprised at how good the league is. The guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and we're the same thing. We're bigger, stronger, faster than last year. But I'm really pleased with our defense and our goaltending. Scott Greenham probably would want that second goal back. It's a save he should have made, but he made some saves he probably shouldn't have made. So, it all kind of balanced out. And, we just couldn't get that tire in there. But, 2-1, we weren't in many games like that last year. And it felt good just to be in the game, especially with this young group and the energy they have and, the effort they put out. I think if they keep doing that, we're going to have success.
You guys are back home again inside the Ford Center. It's Evansville IceMen head coach Al Sims joining us for his weekly segment, which is making its return here every week. We'll talk IceMen hockey with Coach Al Sims. They are home again Friday night. Yes, home Friday night.
Yep.
Yes.
It's Saturday, I think.
Saturday, that's night. What I'm saying. That's what I meant.
You got
home
Back
Saturday
to the Future night.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's right. It's Back to the Future night.
Got some special jerseys, all kind of cool stuff.
Inside the Ford Center, taking on the Toledo Walleye. Tickets are available. Ford Center box office. Get them online. Ticketmaster.com. I know the fans came out in droves last week and supported you guys as they're super excited that Evansville IceMen hockey is back. Always a pleasure, Coach. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, guys.